such a captive audience. But it's good to be back. I used to play here a lot with my band Tanua. Maybe some of you guys have heard of us. We were playing music probably, well, I just graduated college and we played while I was in high school, so, 5, 6 years ago. But anyway, it's good to be back here. It's a great venue, and makes me feel at home. Celtic music fans, but my favorite Celtic band is Lunasa, and so that last set was a set that they played, and I steal a lot of tunes from them, so
Never heard of them.
you should definitely check them out.
Heard of
Yeah. Good stuff too. Alright, let's see.
Time to get a watch. 7:30.
7:30. Okay.
7:30.
Cool. Thank you. I made a set list, but I decided not to play them in order, which is always a risk, but I think I have a few more, maybe 2 or 3, depending on time. So, let's see.
Here, if you didn't know, she's played on the stage many times a long time ago when she was young for a band called Tsunami, and you maybe have seen her. You played a lot down around the Holiday Market and the Fifth Street Market. Didn't you do a YouTube video about the Haight Ashbury? Did I just see that?
I did.
Oh my God, that is a rad video. And I'm just,
Thank you. I didn't know you saw that.
She's busking tonight. I wanted to mention that our musicians play for tips. So while she's doing her last song, I'm going to pass the bucket around. And do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
Okay, no cigarettes. But she also has CDs
People
for
do
sale.
ask me for them though, so you know.
Got CDs at the counter for $12. She might have some here. And yeah, thank you very much for coming. All right.
I am very, very pleased to announce that we're going to be bringing our fabulous feature up here. I'm going to go ahead and read his bio to you because there's so much good information. My brain would never remember it. So, Robert Lashley, a semifinalist for the Penn Rosenthal Fellowship. Robert Lashley has had poems published in such journals as Feminette, No Regrets, and Your Hands, Your Mouth. His work was also featured in Many Trails to the Summit, an anthology of Northwest form and lyric poetry. He has featured at the Kerouac Institute for Performing Arts, Goddard, and Seattle Central College, read and was a guest lecturer at the University of Washington, Tacoma, and Western Washington University, and was the IWPS Page Stage Panel and Showcase in 2013. In May of 2014, he won the Cascadia Poetry Festival's Beer Slam title. And in November, he will be one of the storytellers in the Western Literary Festival. His full-length book, The Homeboy Songs, was published by Small Doggies Press in April 2014. And it is my understanding that that book is doing very well, and you have an opportunity to get a copy here tonight. I know, it looks good. It is $15. That will come later. And he tells me for those of you who are poor students, you can talk to him about $10. Yeah, I have been eagerly awaiting this feature for a good while, so please join me in giving him a big, big, warm Tsunami Books. Welcome, Robert Lashley, everybody.
Golly! I'll get to it because you have a lot of people on the slam. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start gentle. I won't. When I was in the 3rd grade, they asked me the question, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" The kids, most of the kids that were sitting next to me said, "I want to be president, or I want to play for the Mariners." I said, I wanted to be Whitney Houston's husband. This poem, after Audens in the memory of W.B. Yeats, is called Funeral Blues for Whitney. 1. On the day you found what we were missing, a skinny, hungry, thugged out young boy stopped dead in front of a boombox. Runs were froze. Crap games almost deserted. Hood brothers disfigured by public statutes were transformed by the sound waves of you back in the day. On you and your instrument, we young thugs agreed you were wonderful back in the day. And far from our projects, little homies dreamed you in evergreen forest. Ghetto nerds were transfixed by radio plays scattered over 1,000 stations. Scattered, squared to 1,000 more affections immediately and all at once. Immediately, every time we heard you and called ourselves to be better than we were. Immediately, as we dreamed to be something grand, if not grandiose, if only to win your heart. If only then we would scheme up some shit to unearth the sword from our gravel stones and win. Win you and live happily in your kingdom, but the magic dust ate you alive. 2. Earth, receive a troubled guest. Whitney Houston is laid to rest. Let this Newark sister lie emptied of our dreams. For in the nightmare of the dark, all the mask we had of your majesty ate your face. All our refusals to look into your blackness have blinded and scarred our eyes. Have turned to brown ash all our crystal-strewn pedestals in a parable of genius and dust. And now you hang in memory over us. Our Lady of chemical and two human sorrows, trapped eternally in a crystal cage, only free in the shadow of Sirius. Only free in fleeting notes and electrons of youth, love, and limitless potential before yours turns slow to a curse. Thank you. I used to be a teaching artist. This poem involves an incident regarding a former student and some dude at a club. I got a permission to write this. we were at a club. She was coming back from college. And it was, I'm not a club person. I left the projects. I kind of like the suburbs. I don't like suburb people, but I like the suburbs. So we were at this club, and it was kind of a boom, 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 boom club. And I'm not a boom, 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 boom dude. So, but her friend was getting off work, and we were going to go out to eat, and it was very, we just kind of, be diplomatic, try to be positive. And I look at the corner of my eye, I see this dude. I don't know what he was wearing. I don't know the brand. I knew it, but I knew it was from a mall. So he was feeding lines to my friend and former student, and we're trying to avoid things. We both have hot temper. They were like, "No, okay, we're good. Okay, no, we're not interested. Okay, yes, okay, right, okay." So we're about to leave, and I see him out of the corner of my eye at the bar. He's mixing a drink, and he puts something in the drink. He gets something out of his hat, gets something out, a little powder, puts it in the drink. And all my hood brother senses tingled. This poem, after Wallace Stevens' 13 Different Ways of Looking at a Blackbird, is called 13 Different Ways of Looking at a Motherfucker in the Club. 1. Among 20 bros in the club, the only thing moving toward my cousin was the eye of the motherfucker. 2, I was of 3 minds, like the IQ of the motherfucker in the club. 3, the motherfucker in the club whirled in the autumn wind. It was a small part of some corny bro dance. 4, a Maxim magazine and Axe body spray are 1. A Maxim magazine, Axe body spray, and a motherfucker in the club are 1. 5, I do not know which to prefer. The time when the motherfucker in the club says to my cousin, "Girl, I want to sop you up like a biscuit." Or, "Girl, you look good enough to season greens with." Or, "Girl, if your left leg is Christmas and your right leg is New Year's, can I visit you in between the holidays?" 6, bros filled the window with barbaric glasses of liquor a rapper drank. The motherfucker in the club drank them to and fro. An indecipherable case. 7, oh thin bros of Seattle. Why do you imagine that you could put Rohypnol in my cousin's drink? Do you not know my juvenile assault record of when you walk the feet of the young lady around me? 8, I know noble accents and lucid, inescapable rhythms. But I know, too, if the motherfucker in the club gives her that drink, I will catch a case. 9, when the motherfucker in the club flew out the window. 10, at the sight of the motherfucker in the club flying outside the window, a ball of euphony cried out, "What did I tell you? What the fuck did I tell you? If you put your hands on my cousin again, I'll turn the bracket on your back and front your goddamn daddy. I'll swear for God and FOMO evil niggas. I will bust your head to the white meat and kick your ass up and down the block till your ass is turned and framed. And what the rest of you bros looking at? Which one of you want to ask the dentist to get their teeth fixed? Don't let this foam twine fool you." 11. The motherfucker in the club ran past downtown with a busted hand. Once a fear pierced him, and that he mistook someone else for a person who was driven away. 12, the wind is howling. The motherfucker in the club is somewhere in a corner. 13, thank you. I try to mix old and new to create new things. This is kind of this poem is called "The Ganghouse Garden Thief's Love Ballad." For your garden, I will find you hot corner petals. I will put them in my Crown Royal bag. I will search past the weeds, the thickets, the nettles, search past the suckers and their impossible tags, and share with you my world in stems and in colors, beyond reds and blues, those handkerchief flags. I will give you my lavenders beyond the hard metals, in 45s, concrete, and faded do-rags, for your love creates me, and love never settles for environment. So I'll work, I'll pick them, I'll snag. For your garden, I will find you hot corner petals. I will put them in my Crown Royal bag. Thank you. I used to be a DJ. I was from age 12 to age 14. My DJ name was Brooke Shields because I had big ass eyelashes. I ain't lying. So I'm kind of survivor of the hood. So I see things, and I see people talking about, my culture in weird ways and wrong ways, and this is about that. There was an open mic in Bellingham. This kind of rapper slash spoken word artist, and I use those terms loosely with him. Straight out of Ferndale, crazy motherfucker named Dan. So he was talking about how he was a DJ, and DJs were pimps, and the women were the sex workers, but he didn't use the word sex worker. And so I was still kind of in that kind of don't be watch your temper, don't be too hood voice. And I was like, hi, how you doing? I heard your poem. I used to be a DJ, and what you're saying isn't true. And maybe you need to read bell hooks and shit. And I like you. We good. I like you. No bullshit. I like you. So he laughed in my face, and I wrote this Villanella keep from killing him. This poem is called How Not to Think About Slavery While Listening to 3-6 Mafia, or No, I Don't Think It's That Hot Out There for a Pimp. Look away from their ice, their glitter and such. Don't not think of cattle or oxen or pain, for their pictures, silent, say far too much. Don't think of their blood or the soul catcher's punch, the taking of bounty with encrusted chain. Look away from the ice, the glitter and such. Don't think of the gentry, the dogs of the Dutch, or the color of dirt, and clay of their grain, for the pictures, silent, say far too much. Don't think of the auction, their prod or their touch, the sizing of the breast, the testicles, the brain. Look away from the ice, the glitter and such. Don't think of the bee or the chopping block crutch. In the cut of the day, come shine or come rain, for their pictures, silent, say far too much. To think of it all is to think far too much. To think far too much is to think you're insane. Look away from the ice, the glitter and such, for their pictures, silent, say far too much. Thank you. I'm not crazy about respectability politics. I'm not a Cosby dude. I think that you should you should show in your moral. You should show in your actions, and I'm not a conservative, but sometimes. Honesty, I have to be honest about my own experiences and about growing up and seeing some people who didn't take responsibility for themselves. And I went to a lot of them, too many funerals in my lifetime, and too many cats that I saw too many people who didn't have who were cut at the knees by their fathers, and I read this in the spirit of honesty, and not to but this poem is called Anti-Algae, or Villanelle to a Brother That Don't Deserve One. Your son shermed to death in a makeshift car. His loss was felt, but yours was felt the more. Don't be a dad tonight. Go to the bar. His mama cries and prays to Morning Star. She prays now that he reach celestial shore. Your son shermed to death in a makeshift car. Forgive us for not getting who you are, but please forgive away from worship door. Don't be a dad tonight. Go to the bar. A girlfriend mourns a body burned to char, embalmed in a butane threshing floor. Your son shermed to death in a makeshift car. The whole church grieves in ways you feel afar, but you don't know the one they're grieving for. Don't be a dad tonight. Go to the bar. Save the crying rap for the ripple jar. The only brown thing you showed feeling for. Your son shermed to death in makeshift car. Don't be a dad tonight. Go to the bar. Thank you. When I was 16, I was getting really wild, and my mom thought that it would be a good idea for me to go to church camp. I got kicked out of church camp, but I got this poem. Church camp, 1. Rolling Old Testament papers with her after Frank O'Hara's having a Coke with you was so much better than going to Samaria, Judea, Gideon, Babel, Myrta, or putting the blood with her at the Kmart altar, partly because I loved her, partly because she had the sickle cell, partly because the deacon read black tail in the back pew and was far less cleaner than she. The secrecy of our smiles took off before the sanctuary of dietary laws as we rolled up Ezekiel's obsession with her and animal junk. I looked at her and would have rather looked at her than all the books of Moses. Their portraits seemed to have no face, as radiant as she there blazed in the grass. 2, conference room, or what a friend we had in Razzles. Though light and glass, she defines all matter, though nothing of matter will lightly define her. Nothing of matter and the surrogate of lips between blood, a bed, and a bowl. Seeds, sticks, stems of fathers. Sorrow burns along with the terror of touch, and smoke alarms lose sound and meaning, and abandoned cheese as conference rooms. Through light and glass, the world is her laurel. Her holly seeds filtered all light and shadow. Sorrow is an invisible city of fabrics from her and in the world outside. 3, before they kicked us out. The only thing we did was touch, Lord. Our roaches were gone into the ether. Our stolen boombox was out of power. And my menagerie of boast on Dutch Red Ripple gave way to the crickets and grass. Gave way to cuddles and pinky sworn stories of David and Biggie, Bathsheba and Tupac, the serpent and the gold chain gangster's feet of bronze, sex, and wantonness. Yet everything I wanted was there. The red rightness of her curls, the smell of her air, the warmth of her inner thigh that made me take off my ice and jersey 4 after. And though days and days I dreamt about her, every ending I had was snatched to the real. Every altered shape, intensified color, ripped clean by the finality of elders, ripped clean in our nakedness by the group of our brothers rejoicing in shame, sin, and loss. And home, I walked that suburb senseless to try and find her, yet the grass stayed straight. The evergreens wouldn't bend. Every streak and glimpse of red would mirror her and evaporate away to the gray of the concrete. The sound and actual of mourning, though nothing but her there seemed real. Thank you. 3 poems. 3 more poems. 1 long one and 2 short ones. I was considered a freak. I was considered crazy. In many poetry places, I'm still considered crazy. I'm also considered published, but it's. But I've been called crazy since I was 11 years old. When a group of church elders came around at the table and said, "Son, you've got some issues. You're not man enough to sit with us. You have some quote unquote, in their words, specified ways. You have to go in the kitchen while us men talk." And the men would talk and talk and talk and talk about how moral they were, about what they were doing for the community, and about the ways of what it means to be a godly man, a Christian man, and their struggle and their agony of how to change America, and how to make America Christian, and how to make America this wonderful thing, and all the sacrifice that they were making. Oh, and the women in the back were doing all the work. This poem is in dedication to their memory. This poem is called Blues for Big Mama. 1. You're our pillar, Big Mama. You're our treasure, Big Mama. You're our backbone, Big Mama. You're the rock of our community, Big Mama. You are being treated like an inanimate object as you slave over the church stove, Big Mama. You grab your hands in agony as you cook all the food for the Sunday church picnic, Big Mama. You try not to cry as you ice the same hands that were mauled by that cotton plant with thorns as sharp as knives, Big Mama. You stir the greens and try and forget the memory of looking at the Georgia red clay and wondering if it got that way because of our blood, Big Mama, too. You done fucked up the food, Big Mama. You done never get the food right, Big Mama. You ain't done cooked a good piece of chicken since '88, Big Mama. You messing up, Big Mama. You are trying to block out the memories of the meals you cook for the deacons, the deacon fathers, and their fathers after that, without them ever getting you as much as a glass of water, Big Mama. You yearn from the day when someone wouldn't shoulder your burden, when someone would tell you, "Thank you, Big Mama. Bless you, Big Mama. You've done enough, Big Mama. You can rest now, Big Mama. Rest now, Big Mama." 3. You ain't never gave me no play, Big Mama. You hassling me about support, Big Mama. You ain't supportive of a black man, Big Mama. You ain't my color or size, no way, Big Mama. You are trying to block the memory of the man who left you 40 years ago with child and without notice, Big Mama. You are wondering if there ever was a Black is Beautiful movement, then why didn't anyone tell you, Big Mama, that your lips were beautiful, that your body was beautiful, that your shape was beautiful, and your skin was beautiful, that your hair was beautiful, that you were so much more in the cooking part man than we deemed you to be, Big Mama. 4. You ignore them boys, Big Mama. It's just a song, Big Mama. So whatever it's about salt, Big Mama, you leave them boys alone, Big Mama. We are trying to forget the flat boys who come to the plantation to take what was left of your innocence, Big Mama. You try and forget that feeling that you'd have hanged yourself in a tree and you stayed any longer, Big Mama. You couldn't take one more, Big Mama. Not one more, Big Mama. You remember seeing Joan Crawford being touched on Montgomery Cliff at the picture show and dreamed of a time when a man would touch you like that, Big Mama. You finally woke up in this kitchen with a realization dreams are as worthless as they seem, Big Mama. 5. Where are you going, Big Mama? You done lost your mind, Big Mama. Why are you leaving, Big Mama? You have a low parson, Big Mama. You have left the church, Big Mama. Then run, Big Mama. You have been sinned against, Big Mama. If you have a low parson and your parson is worthless, Big Mama. If you are going to hell and there is no God, Big Mama. So if they throw you out, and run, Big Mama. Run, Big Mama. Make this your great getting up morning, Big Mama. Fare thee well, I loved you more, and words could tell, Big Mama. You have searched high and low to the River Jordan and not found it on this bitter earth, Big Mama. Find your own River Jordan, Big Mama. Make your own way to the land, Big Mama. For you will not view a host in white. A host in white will view you, Big Mama. For you will not come up with every nation. Every nation will come up with you, Big Mama. For you will not cook on the welcome table. The welcome table will come to feed you, Big Mama. And on that day, the saints will come to tell you this. Thank you, Big Mama. Bless you, Big Mama. You have done enough, Big Mama. You can rest now, Big Mama. Rest now, Big Mama. 2 short poems left. This is the addendum to that poem. This poem is called Big Daddy's Lament for Big Mama. There are times, boy, when I dream of death. Time is a dream now of her face in the rain. These times, boy, I feel I have nothing left. Time centers around the way that she left. Yet time has no way to center this pain. There are times, boy, when I dream of death. My time is a weight, a burden, a heft to carry another day. And again, and again, these times, boy, I feel I have nothing left. Time saved me from swinging those roots at cliff. Yet the branches still bleed now, still bleed in my brain. There are times, boy, when I dream of death. Time calls it passage, boy, I call it theft. In my dreams, the tile is a burning red plain. In these times, boy, I feel I have nothing left. Yet I will keep going, I'll wander, I'll drift to that last meeting place, and I will walk in. But there are times, boy, when I dream of death. These times, boy, I feel I have nothing left. One more short poem. I have so many nicknames. One of them is called the Prince of Darkness. So I'm gonna end with this sweet poem. When I was a teaching artist, this boy would come by my art office. He was really sweet. He was like a new school, old school homie. He had the Raiders jersey. He had the black, the black Raiders cap. He had the saggy pants. And he had the Jerry curl, just so fine and so intricate. And he had to do it because the dude was Irish. So this short little poem, and before I say anything, if you like what you hear, I have books. They would contribute to, they'd feed me and it'd be great. Thank you. So this poem, after William Carlos Williams, The Red Wheelbarrow, is called The Little White Dude with a DJ Quick Jerry Curl. So much depends upon a little white dude with a DJ Quick Jerry Curl riding his 10-speed down the block, trying to get his baby mama at the hair salon a sandwich. You have all been lovely.
Robert Lashley, everybody! Here we go, moving into the slam competition proper. You guys ready? If you're ready, say I'm ready. Ready. Excellent. Okay, so we start this off by meeting our judges. Let's meet them now. When I read your name, Judge, please put your something noticeable in the air, and Roxy will give you a scorecard.
Not your dick, please.
Masters of Subtlety. That's our band. Also, side note, sorry, but did you guys notice how coordinated we are tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Oh, my God. Okay, Claude Pemble. Excellent. Claude Pemble is qualified as a great slam judge because he's been a performer since childhood. And for the past 20 years, he's been a professional actor. Look out, people. Okay, Katie and Jackie, our next judging pair, right here in the center. Thank you so much, wonderful women. They are qualified because they're rational and they're roommates and they have perfect synergy. And Katie has judged before and attended many slams. And Jackie is in the literary arts program at the U of O, and she listens to slam and writes poetry. Okay. So the rest of y'all can go home. They're just going to judge the whole thing. No. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, our third superhero tonight, Tim Hicks. Gentleman over here, yes, excellent. He's qualified because he's tough, hard, demanding, and he loves spoken word. Woo! Woo! That's like the dating profile I'm looking for. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Oh, it happens. Every rose does it. For our fourth judging pair, Darren and Patrick. They're qualified because they appreciate honest expressions of the self. Oh, and the other one of them likes language. Also, supremely good reasons. Excellent. Lastly, we have Candace and Lisa Marie. Woo! All right. They mentally enjoy poetry and all those who read it. Go Poetry Slam. Woo! Excellent. Okay. Judges, this is how it works. You now have a scorecard. It moves in a flippy flip motion. I bet you can get it down real quick like. There are two numbers. You are judging on a scale of 0 to 10. That means that in between these two numbers, there is an invisible decimal place. So we are dealing with Olympic-style scoring here. If you were to show me this in the air, I would read it as a 7.8. The only time I will not read the scorecard with that invisible decimal place is if you show me a 1 and a 0, I will read that as a perfect 10. What will happen? The poet will come up here. They will read very shortly after they are done reading. I will step back on stage, and I will ask you as a group to raise your scorecard high, proud in the air, facing at me, and leave it there until I have finished reading all 5 scores. In order to get you accustomed to doing this, we are going to do a practice round. That person is called the sacrificial poet. They're going to start us off tonight so you can get used to the feeling, the process, and the other important part of your job. You basically have one job, judges, other than touching this card and making the numbers correlate to what you think in your brain, which is like, that's weird and confusing, but I don't have to mess with that. All I want from you is that you stay as consistent as possible. This is your absolute job, is to try to judge the poets at the beginning of the competition with the same scale for those who come at the end. So whatever you need to do, whatever rubric you create in your brain, we're trying to avoid scores creeping up. That is what they tend to do over the course of the night for various reasons. Okay. Poets, here's your rules. You have 3 minutes. After 3 minutes and a grace period of 10 seconds, you will start to have points deducted from your score. You may only read original work. You may not use any props or costumes, no tattoos. You may only use your voice and your words. You are welcome to read something off of a piece of paper or a phone or, a toilet scroll, like whatever you wrote it on, that is acceptable. If you have read a poem here at the Eugene Poetry Slam on this stage earlier in this season, you may not repeat it again tonight. Clear? Yeah. Excellent. Last thing you should know, poets, when you come up to the microphone and begin speaking, your time will begin. This includes any kind of small introduction or title to your poem. However, please take a silent moment to make sure that the microphone is adjusted to a good level for your mouth hole. Because I want the soundy bits to go out there, okay? So the easiest way to do that is with this, except it's hella tight right now. I know, I didn't say it. Why is it so tight? Okay, use this one. This one here. So this is one of the easiest ways to have the microphone. I did it. I did it. It was all spontaneous. So yeah, turn this knob, adjust up or down. And if you feel at all intimidated by that, just make hand gestures at me and I'll come do it for you. Rare offer. Do I have any, right? Do I have any questions from the judges or the poets before we begin with our sacrificial practice round?
You didn't mention the high-low average.
Oh, thank you, sir. This guy is so qualified. What happens to those 5 scores? Well, we drop the high, we drop the low, and we take the 3 in the middle. Boom. There you go. But judges, that doesn't mean you don't count. If you're always the zealot or always the curmudgeon, you might get dropped. Whatever, like, be even. It's that much more of an incentive to keep it steady.
What's a 10?
What's a 10? Perfect. That would be your consideration of the ultimate perfection.
The invisible dot.
Use it sparingly. I did talk about the invisible dot and the lack thereof. Yeah, I think we're good. You guys ready to ride? We've got a lot of poets tonight, so judges, I am going to be quick with you. I'm going to try to keep the banter minimal, which will be hard for both of us probably. I need you guys to flip fast, and that will be your task, and I need me to shut up, and that'll be my task. So if we can both do that, it will work out, okay? They're dependent on each other. Here we go. Please welcome to the stage to sacrifice himself for all of our benefit on the altar of poetry, Dante. Woo!
I know him.
I like you. We're at a place in time where I can say that, right? Is this okay? I want it to be okay. I want so many things to be okay. I want to be okay with you. I want to take you out to coffee and be okay with you, okay? I like you. See, I like you like chocolate likes peanut butter, and if you don't like chocolate and peanut butter, then I'll sell all of it I own. I want you to like me, and if you dislike chocolate and peanut butter, that is, if you don't like it, then I'll sell it. Then I'll buy you something else, and we can eat it in the bathtub instead. This is my room. It can be your room, too, if you want. I like you. Do you want help moving in? I think we'll do well together here. There's a church down the street. There is a cafe on the corner. It's adorable. I think we'll do great in domesticity. I think we'll do great together, and I'm so happy that you like me too. I'm carving out a place for you in my body. You can lay next to my lungs. It's nice and warm. There aren't too many places left that are warm now. I'm so full of holes now that ghosts pass through me. It's okay. I gave that flesh away, and it's good now. We're okay. They're okay. It's okay. We're good. Do you like jazz? I don't like jazz, but I will try and like jazz for you. I will learn to play the trumpet. I will learn to dance for you. I never like dancing, but I see you dancing, and at night you dance sometimes, and I never like dancing, but if you're dancing, then I'll break my legs into something that can dance for you. Because I like you. Because I want to make sure everything's perfect. I want kids. I do. It's a big thing for me. I want to have a couple kids, raise them well and teach them things and help them when they scrape their knees. I want this very bad. I carry this want in me. It's a big thing for me. I know you don't want kids, and I'm already preparing to get rid of that because I wouldn't want it to affect how you thought of me. Guess what? I don't want kids anymore. It's okay. It's totally okay. I'm happy with this. I like you. I like you. I like you. I like you. I like this. I like waking up to you. I like losing things for you. I like not being me anymore. I like the new things. All the new things. And my old things, I don't need them anymore. I like you. I like you. I like this. Please don't go. I like you. I like so many things. I like so many things with you. I like things so much.
I like thinking about having so much peanut butter and chocolate that you have to sell it off.
Now you talk about a sacrificial poet.
Excellent. All right, judges. So this is the part where you should have put numerical scores on that incredible piece of art. And you ready? Excellent. 1, 2, 3. Up and at me, please. All right. I've got a 6.5. Stay strong, woo! Excellent. Woo! Okay, other scores, stay up in the air. I've got, up please, I've got an 8.5. And then another, bless you guys, stay strong. I've got another 8.5. And an 8.9. And a 9.2 for Dante. Thank you, poet, let him hear it.
But BT dubs, guys. Okay, this
you guys are all, it's Eugene and everyone fucking loves everyone else, so you're all like polite and shit and you recycle, so you don't like say much of anything when someone does a poem. And then if you don't disagree with the score that the judges give, then you're just like, well, I guess maybe we have different artistic values. Don't do that! That was just great! Just give people shit! Because it's not the judge's job to give a fuck about what you think.
Our scorekeeper speaks. Excellent. Okay, you guys ready to start this competition proper? All right. On deck is Jeff. Please welcome Sarah to the stage.
Success fails to prepare you for its opposite. Skyscrapers don't give your hands the expertise to reconstruct ruins. I learned this when every aspect of my life became unrecognizable to me. And the worst part was I actively disliked the person I became, and as for my mistakes, I don't want to bandy around the word disaster, but if the Hindenburg had ignited overhead, it would have looked like a paper airplane thrown off course in comparison. I mean, I didn't think that shit could happen to me. My surprise could not have been greater if love tapping an ice cube sank the Titanic. They say there's no use crying over spilled milk, but I was crying over an oil slick blotting out the Gulf of Mexico. So what did I do about it? I poulticed my wounds with salt. I sang a swan song of nails on a chalkboard. I built my bridges out of dynamite, knowing I would burn every single one. And from time to time, I still say that I wish I could take it all back. But then again, without the ugly things in life, there would be no beautiful structures to put between the covers of books. Without the ugly things in life, Charles Dickens could have penned puff pieces, and Sylvia Plath would be renowned for her beautifully written personality quizzes. Without the ugly things in life, Sam and Frodo might as well have stayed in the Shire. I had to learn to love every part of my story, every book on my bookshelf, but now I wouldn't prune the selection in this library for anything. The ink blots are my Sistine Chapel. The misprint is my masterpiece. The typos are my vocabulary, and I am not a dead language. You wouldn't give the Mona Lisa a facelift, and I won't whitewash this gray matter graffiti, won't plaster a new paint job on the walls of my skull like this year's New Year's resolution self-improvement makeover kit Barbie doll. I need these words to be preserved, to speak for the purpose they serve, to remind me creating carbon copies could be carcinogenic. I need to trace my fingers over hippocampus braille because I am blind without the map of my past, without looking at the signatures of loved ones scrawled over this cast. The cardinal sin would be to forget. Everything belongs here, except regret.
And we're off. Thank you so much, Sarah. Maybe I'm just like weak. She might be. Excellent. All right, judges, you ready? 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please. Scores this direction. And now I'm not giving you a ton of time. buy a ticket to the finals. All right. I have got, up and at me, please. I've got an 8.0, an 8.7, an 8.9, another 8.9, and a 9.0 for Sarah. Thank you, poet. Let her hear it. 26.5. All right. On deck is Andrew. Please welcome Jeff to the stage.
Yeah, buddy.
I know that.
At 1 a.m. on a Friday night in my fraternity, I walk into the bathroom to find my favorite new pledge spouting rotten liquor all over the toilet seat. He has offered his body, mind, and time to this organization, convinced by the promises of an excellent life that have been filled with women and booze by boys who measure manhood in bedpost notches and beer cans. We meet eyes. I give him one of those been there, done that kind of smiles, pat him on the back, and one by one he spits up his apologies. I'm sorry for drinking too much. I'm sorry for puking and making a mess. I'm sorry for hogging the toilet. I'm sorry for not fucking her. Tell Kevin I'm sorry. I tried to do it for him, but I drank too much. God, tell him I'm sorry. Tears fall onto his custard yellow splattered shirt as his head collapses into the puddle of shame he has made for himself. Passed out drunk on Hennessy apologies and regret because his body wouldn't sacrifice itself the way his mind did. This is what happens when boys try to convince each other that they're men. We forfeit our integrity, forfeit our individuality, seek help at the bottom of shot glasses until we end up passed out on a dirty bathroom floor. The first time I lost myself on the linoleum was after a night of 7 brothers whispering in my ear, 2 gallons of pineapple schnapps, and 1 girl. She and I drank until we forgot who we were. I gave myself to her, convinced this was the righteous path. This was what they said makes a boy into a man night after night, watching brothers lead girl after girl to the backs of bedrooms and bragging about it in the morning. That night, I learned how far apart 2 bodies in a twin bed can be when alcohol is the only thing lying between you, when consuming another body is the last way to convince yourself you still have control over your own. The second, third, fourth, and fifth time started with whiskey, but ended the same, confessing my secrets into the bowl of a toilet, eager to swallow my sins by the mouthful and apologizing the entire time. Funny how when the alcohol wore off, I was always left alone and no closer to the man I wanted to be. Now liquor and shame both bring the same on the way down. Each shot tastes like a dirty bathroom floor, a reminder of just how far I can fall when I sacrifice my wings for the nest. The truth is, I didn't know who I was until I was broken to pieces and learned to put myself back together. Learned to build a backbone that no longer bends at their beckoning. I demand to feel everything, because no amount of empty canisters will make me feel less empty, because I want to remember last night in the morning and be proud of the man I have become, and I will not apologize for that anymore. The only apology I owe is to myself.
Thank you, Jeff. It's so exciting to have you visit us. All right, judges, I need to be touching that laminate like it's hot. Flip, flip, flip. We have so many wonderful artists to hear from tonight. 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please. Scores for Jeff. Excellent. I've got an 8.5, an 8.7, an 8.8, an 8.9, and a 9.4 for Jeff. Let him hear it. Thank you, poet.
26.4.
26.4. All right, on deck is Roxy. Please welcome Andrew back to the Eugene Poetry Slam.
I regret to inform you, being human does not mean only one thing. As if ratified with a capital H, from whence the species procreates and indoctrinates the miscreants into a bourgeois spelling contest to earn literacy and therefore gain a decent heart. Humanity not exclusionary of missing limbs or deformed face, pug nose, cleft lip, or midget porn. Is not either or meant to be poor, to be rich, to live long, to die young. Ugliness not sin, prettiness not virtue, pleasure not blessing, pain not curse. Clay on the potter's wheel, the potter made of clay, neuroplasticity. Tore needle through underside of the elbow, or forced shaft into an underage sacred space, or hacked the neck to decapitate an infidel, dehumanized sociopathy, a human condition. Whether inhumane or not, let humanity judge, but whether these things are human, let humans never judge, like a quarter only aware of a quarter of its worth. Someone drools on himself in the city bus and utters gibberish. To be human is not only to be one thing. Therefore, to love, therefore, to see is not limited by specialty forks or eating with your hands. Columbus would name the natives savages. Columbus's tribe would exalt him unto God. Human, both of these. Fleeting wisps over the water on a cold, wintry night, trying to freeze but can't find the right temperature to make change stand still. Are there degrees of heat to this human spark? Who judges which is brighter? I am not one thing, therefore my darkness shines. If humanity is buoyant enough to carry you, it is buoyant enough to carry me. I pray thee, what does nirvana look like? May it appear as a drunk stumbling towards you. He is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Your flip-flops make me happy. It is officially spring in the Northwest. 52 degrees and a little bit of sun sometimes. Excellent. All right, judges, I think you're getting it. You ready? 1, 2, 3, up and at me, please. You two got to work on your telepathy. Oh, thank you for the light. Excellent. I've got a 6.8. And another. The humanity. Okay. I've got a 6.8. And a 7.8. And an 8.2. And an 8.8. And an 8.9. Thank you, Andrew. Woo! Let him hear it. 24.8. Excellent. On deck, we have Hannah. Please welcome Roxy to the stage.
a friend asked me recently, but aren't you scared to have kids? Are you fucking kidding me? I am completely and absolutely fucking terrified. I am terrified that mid-labor, my vagina will tear past my ass, thus literally ripping me a new asshole that will have to be sewn back together, but they'll do it wrong so that all of my future farts will come through my vagina and all of my queefs will have to go through my back door. I am fucking terrified that this is just gonna keep happening, so get used to it. I am terrified that mid-pregnancy, my already enormous breasts will balloon to Galactus size and have to get a KitchenAid mixer so I can wear the bowl set as a bra holster for my world-eating titties. I am fucking terrified that despite all of the genetic odds stacked in their favor, my children will grow up to be assholes. It is a complete possibility that Clara Hitler was actually a kind and loving mother, compassionate and full of grace and tolerance, and little Adolf was just a dick. Of course, I am fucking terrified. My life will never be the same. My partner's life will never be the same. There will never be an us or an our. From that day on, we will only ever be a family. Of course, it's terrifying. But it is also distinctly possible that it is the coolest fucking thing that we will ever do. It is distinctly possible that in the process, us becoming a family, we will find parts of ourselves we never knew existed and become entirely new people, seeing parts of each other that we would have never seen. It is distinctly possible that I will develop a new love and respect for my body after seeing what it can create that is completely separate from how it looks in a reflective surface. Of course, I am scared. But it is probably going to be the greatest adventure of our lives. And astronauts don't call in sick to work because there's a possibility that they will be sucked into the vortex of a black hole. The front row seat to the greatest adventure of their lives is worth the risk.
For those of you who stay up late at night going over your list of irrational fears, I think that you should definitely add queefs are gonna come out my asshole. Maybe at the top. That may not have happened.
That wasn't noticed.
I think it's fine.
It was.
Yeah, I got
I'm bad at your job. Okay. Here we go. Scores for Roxy. Up and at me, please. I've got a 7.7. An 8.2.
Boo!
An 8.4.
Boo again!
Another 8.4.
Boo!
And an 8.8. Let her hear it. Woo! Okay. Okay. On deck is Shannon. Please welcome Hannah to the stage. Hannah!
She edits my poems.
Don't be alarmed. This is the same girl you've always known. She's always worked hard at math. She still gets good grades. No, she gets excellent grades. So maybe she doesn't smile as much as she used to. Maybe she doesn't hug as much, but that's just because she's serious. She only laughs when she thinks people will notice if she doesn't, in which case, that was really funny. Don't worry. This is the same girl you've always known, just better. Just a little more architectural than you've ever seen her. Just a little less, but less is more, right? This is the same girl you've always known. This is a tribute to every long-limbed Giacometti sculpture and every nutcracker performance she's ever been to. This is the same girl you've always known. She just now looks like she's always wanted to. She's always loved salads and always hated ice cream. She's always loved running and always hated sleeping in. She's always loved being loved and hated the idea of being unlovable. Remember? She used to be afraid of going to the beach because she thought she looked bad in a bikini. Just look at her now. Did you see the Facebook photos? How her bikini bottoms were so small. You could see right through her legs to the ocean behind them, and everyone liked it. So what if her hair's falling out? It was too thick anyways, right? So what if her senses might be on a dimmer switch? She might misjudge the distance to collapse into a chair. She might drop the kitchen knife, but to be fair, it was really heavy. She might touch a hot pan and just keep touching it for a few seconds because the sensors and the nerve endings just don't have the energy to get the signal to her brain that she's getting burned. But don't worry. This is the same girl you've always known. Her heart only beats once every 2 seconds. See, it's a sign that she's calm. You said her eyes were like sapphires. They still have that spark, right? Shallow like water on Waikiki. No. Her eyes are like two-way glass, reflecting like pools of water with no soul behind them. Sometimes she might try to look back at you. Don't be fooled. She doesn't see anymore. She's forgotten how to see without bending curves into angles. That's just because she loves geometry. No. Her eyes are fixed, like variables. That's only because she loves algebra. No! Her eyes are like funhouse mirrors, warped in 360 degrees, trapped in a constricted maze. See? She's still got a flair for amusement. See? She's still having fun. See? She's still...
Hannah Golden, welcome back to the Eugene Poetry Slam. We like you. This thing wants to talk to my boobs. Okay. Eyes up here. All right. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, and up and at me, please. Judges, excellent. I've got an 8.2, an 8.6, an 8.8, a 9.0, and a 9.1 for Hannah. Let her hear it. Thank you, poet. 26.4. Excellent. On deck is Victoria. Please welcome Shannon to the stage. Shannon.
This is Ode to the Swan Child on the Emerald Isle. A young maiden carved of silver stone stands watch near the top of shattered stairs, forever in repose. This is her home, a tiny cove cradled on a lapis lake. She is cracked and worn by haunted rains and cold, wrapped in threadbare frocks, woven and veiled by fairy moss, now spanning 300 years old. Emerald, emerald, cry the wee voices as they sew and sew and sew. Emerald, emerald, flitter the fairy voices 'neath amber full moons since long, long ago. The Irish lass, she waits steadfast, while ripples of blue come and go, and come and go. The Irish lass, once upon a time, cried tears so vast, guarding the watery tomb of a summer day etched in doom. The Irish lass, imbued of her daughter's voice, a sweet and tiny song, vanquished to silent cloister. It began with no more than a blithe walk to the shore, down, down, the path traveled so many times before. Mama, Mama, the swans have returned with 6, count 'em, babies so new. The swans have returned, how I love them, I do. Oh, how dearly I love them, I do. And then she was gone. The child of her womb, lost forever in the depths of ice blue. Now, sun hangs in solstice, right on cue. The moss-laden maiden breathes a sigh as 2 lily-white swans slide into view. Betwixt and between them swim 7 tiny pearls. Betwixt and amidst the 7 of them glides 1 rare ivory gem. The swan family has come to find rest amongst the reeds and sun-warmed waves, amongst the long shadows of sunset due west. Slowly, the little gem swan nudges closer and closer to shore. Our dear stone lady hears a voice she cannot ignore. I'm here, Mama. Oh yes, I'm here. The swans have returned with hope 'neath their wings, with faith to restore, and the swans shall return once again, evermore.
Thank you, Shannon. Beautiful. I love the words betwixt and evermore. Oh, I know. Let's start working those in. Blythe, I know. Start working that into daily conversation more. Oh, it's so nice to see you. How you doing betwixt these aisles at Trader Joe's? Like, I know. All right. Judges, show me what you got. Up and at me, please. Anonymous? I've got 6.7.
What?
And a 7.6. And a 7.8. And an 8.1. And an 8.4.
23.1.
23.1. Thank you, Shannon. Woo. Excellent. All right. On deck is Sage. Please welcome Victoria to the mic.
This poem is titled The Separate Memoirs of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or an advice column for deceased artists, or a guide on how to measure the distance from your bed in your room to the one in a hospital, or the eulogy my father will never have to write, or anything but an apology. 3 weeks into college, I was known as the Tiger. A name I received due to an event I cannot remember on a night that is simply absent. You see, I used to drink alcohol 4 days of the week, and it made me everyone's favorite monster. I started spending money as if I was betting on when I would go broke, and my roommate started taking bets on whether or not I would come home each night, or if I would ascend into the sky and become my own supernova. I now understood why Van Gogh cut his own ear off, letting blood trickle down his neck like fresh paint, because it wasn't enough to create the paintings. He had to become one. You see, mania is the drug you never knew you were taking. But when you don't get it, it's strapping Everest to your chest. See, sometimes I think my depression is just a symptom of withdrawals. One night, my friends found me passed out in a pool of my own destruction. The aftermath of trying to drink myself into oblivion, no one called 911. We were all underage and no one wanted to get in trouble. I made it out all right. But now, every time I walk past the hospital, I see it as a sanctuary I never quite made it to. The first time I told my father, we were sitting alone at the kitchen table. He pushed the mashed potatoes around his plate as if searching for a different topic. I could no longer taste my food over the flavor of the distance between us. Sometimes it is hard to find the fear in silence. But yesterday, I found myself holding an envelope addressed to my parents' house. See, I wanted to send them anything to make them understand, to make them proud of me, so I folded up my calendar and mailed it home. So they could see that every day I had checked off was a separate success. Every party, one I made it home from. Every morning I decided to be alive. See, my mind is still at war, but the troops are coming home. Mom, I'm sorry I scared you. I was scared too. Dad, this is my promise that you will never attend my funeral. Bipolar. I don't hate you anymore. See, I've understood that the step to solving a problem is realizing that I am not the problem. I don't want to be a supernova anymore, because I realize my mind is a galaxy. Sometimes the planets don't align, but when you realize how complex it is, you do not blame a few stars for falling. See, I feel things that there are no words for. I feel things that cannot be quantified. I feel things that only the sun can understand, and there is nothing on this earth that will ever make me sorry for that.
Victoria, great to have you with us. From Southern Oregon? Did I get that right? Yeah, what town? What town in Southern Oregon? Ashland! Oh, Eugene and Ashland can be buddies. Excellent. Okay, thank you for being with us for the first time. All right. Judges, show them. I know, I'm asking a lot of you. I'm asking a lot of quickness. Great. I've got an 8.0, an 8.8, an 8.9, another 8.9, and a 9.2 for Victoria. Let her hear it. $26.6. Excellent. On deck is Arjuna. Please welcome raffle winner Sage to the stage.
Poof! Puff! Blammy! You are a great wizard. You need only say penis around a gaggle of schoolboys to prove your power potent. Showered with giggles for hours on end, your magic is fantastic. Poof! Puff! Blammy! You are a great wizard. You need only smile briefly at a stranger to prove your power potent. Passing your joy from person to person, your magic is fabulous. Poof, puff, blammy, you are a great wizard. You need only follow your heart to prove your power potent. Living each moment presently powerful, your magic is everywhere. Poof, puff, blammy, you are a great wizard. Be proud, for you have powers none other do. Be brave, for just the right spell will open that sealed door. And be wise, for the wrong magic might just end it all. Poof, puff, blammy.
Thank you, Sage. Did you guys used to play that penis game in school where you just like that? The one, it's far more innocent than that. No, the one where you'd be like, you would just see who would say it the loudest during class. until it was noticeable. Yeah, I didn't, but I watched the volleyball players do it. Excellent. All right. Those of you with the scorecard, show them to me. I've got a 6.3 and a 7.1 and a 7.5 and a 7.7 and an 8.3. Thank you, poet. Oh, sorry. 22.3. Right away. Excellent. All right. We've got Steve on deck. Please welcome Arjuna to the Eugene Poetry Slam.
I've decided to spend the day with myself. Just the two of us. I'll wait as you put on your lipstick and your favorite underwear. We'll sip tea, then stroll downtown, counting the paved stones beneath our forgotten feet. We'll make faces at each other in the shop windows, to the consternation of the mannequins. When you ask me how you look in this, or perhaps that, I'll lie benevolently. And you'll keep the receipt, and keep stealing glances at yourself in those shop windows, with that lilting leading edge of sunset sparkle. You're a coy one. Indeed, sometimes I wonder what music is playing behind your affect in those disquiet moments we share. Would you put your ear up to mine once in a while so I could hear it? Would you water the deep seeds of my compassion with your tears? Those red eyes are beautiful. That snotty nose is beautiful. Indeed, sometimes I feel like this is the only way I get to see you. I've missed this face, swollen with living. Seeing you like this is remembering the promise of love's first dangerous passion. Loving you is having the courage to talk to myself in broad daylight. Thank you.
That was deep. Kind of felt like it was like Fight Club, where you find out it's like the same person, only they just told you. And there was no fighting. Okay, but I'm really neutral. Like, don't listen to anything I say about anything. Like, you won't, but so we know. I like you all. I'm this emoticon face, the one with the line like this. Up and at me, please, judges. You guys get to have opinions. All right, I've got an 8.2 and an 8.4 and an 8.7 and an 8.9 and another 8.9 for Arjuna. 26 on the nose. Yeah, let him hear it. Sorry, I did that backwards. Woo! Excellent. Okay, here we go. Coming into the last third of this competition, Toby is on deck. Please welcome Steve to the stage.
Oh, I know him.
Jesus can mend your broken heart. Just finished jogging, feeling good. Black Ford pickup pulls up next to me. Hi, my name is Gary. What's yours? Says the driver. Thin, blonde, and mustached, with an insincere smile. As I turn to get into my car and drive away, Gary asks me if I have any broken video recorders or televisions. I tell him, no. He drives away and yells in a soft voice, Jesus can mend your broken heart. I don't think so, Gary. No, not today. I really don't think so.
I feel like this weird obligation to tell you to recycle at Next Step because I work there. So if you do actually need to recycle your electronics, nextsteprecycling.org, because that's the job that pays me. Okay. Little known fact. All right. Scores for Steve. Up and at me, please, judges. Get ready, Tevye. I've got 7.8. And another 7.8. And an 8.4. And an 8.8. And a 9.0 for Steve. Let him hear it. Thank you, poet. Ooh, 25 on the nose. Things are getting weirdly whole. All right, here we go. On deck is Booker. Please welcome Toby to the stage.
We overdrafted our account today by several $100s, which means we are eating more potatoes and less meat, and we might have to borrow our kids' allowance for gas, and the power bill is last notice shut off, and the car needs new brakes, but every night I feel like I just snuck over from my house into your bed for some illicit sleepover makeout sesh where your parents are gone, because your parents are gone. They live in Seattle, and the truth is we are the parents. Our 3 kids are snoring in the next room or wetting the bed or puking or having nightmares, and if they wake up with bad dreams, we are the ones who say, okay, we got this. We got this motherfucking shit on lockdown. Go on back to sleep. We are up on everything before everyone till the day we die. We're the adults. And if I knew this was going to be this much fun, I would have started having kids in junior high. I would have found you years ago by that graveyard angel in Seattle, and I would have said, you know, I'm just a dumb jock right now, but I'll learn to write poetry, and I'll get a normal job, and I'll stop getting speeding tickets. And you decided to marry a poet anyway, despite Keats dying of TB, and Owens getting shot by the Germans, and Plath nose-diving into a Kenmore, and Blake and Poe and Bukowski all dying in financial ruin. It is not a big mystery that poets die penniless. We were penniless the whole fucking damn time. So we're going to be poor, but when our oldest daughter asked me at breakfast if I could teach her to not be afraid to talk to other people, I will look at her in all sincerity and say, if I do my job right, you will not even be afraid of death. Because this is all I have to give. Not a rich man, but that's all right. A holy man, blessings on blessings on blessings. I will teach them that poetry understands what millionaires cannot, that love will see us through all this. So I'm saving our pennies
for a jar in a jar on the fridge, for a tattoo that will be my last will and testament. It will say, to my daughters and son, I don't have a penny to pass on, a pot to piss in, but your inheritance is the heart. I gave your mother the love of 80 years of marriage and battles through sickness and grief, rich always and also poor, the 15 hip replacements from all that freaky deaky shit you know your mom likes, and then I'll get like a picture of like Langston Hughes riding a shark with a shotgun and an American flag that says, fuck with me and find out. And then over here, it'll be like, and so that you kids can take everything we gave you for granted and be better for it, and that you'll give your hearts away like clouds giving rain and lose your virginities like spare change, because you know it is better to give and to lose than to marry a fear that hides itself away, because our riches were always love and they were endless. And then I'll get a picture of like Emily Dickinson and Billy Collins jello wrestling, because that's like classy. And then I'll get across my chest and my shoulders, it'll say, we did this. We became adults, so that you could answer those people who say, there is no way that two people can be as in love as your parents seem to be. You could answer those people who say, there is no way that through the years, love could still survive and become stronger, even as the bodies go weak and the bank accounts continue to bounce. And yes, you can answer those people who say, there is no way a love like that is possible. And you can say, yes, it is.
Whoa! Oh my God, you bought a watch or a phone, or you just learned to say less things. That was 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Oh gosh, that was amazing. Yeah, length matters at the Eugene Poetry Slam. and Toby is one of our past friends who just might have not cared so much about time, let's say. Scores for Tobin, please. Up and at me. Excellent. I've got a 9.1 and a 9.3 and a 9.4 and 2, a 9.6 and another 9.6. Let him hear it. Get out. 28.3. I know. Little poem, big number. Formula. Okay. Excellent. We've just got a few poets left. On deck is Slammy Deitel. Please welcome Booker to the stage.
Dress rehearsal for an Indiegogo crowdfunding film. My name is Scott Landfield, and I am the president, general manager, and de facto CEO of Tsunami Books in beautiful South Eugene. Oh, yeah. At the moment, I am standing in the nicest of our 3 public bathrooms. For 19 years, I have been an integral piece of this amazing, essential, chronically underfunded institution of learning, togetherness, and the arts. Over the course of these years, we have hosted over 3,000 community activities and events. Sometimes after one of these events, when perhaps hundreds of good people have utilized this old building, I find it appropriate to get on my hands and knees and clean this bathroom floor like the Black Plague was upon us. People come from all over town specifically to use this bathroom. That's what they tell me, and I believe them. It's very important that every morning this big cement block book barn be converted back into a clean, well-lit, working class bookstore for the progressive mind. Doubly important in that I, as CEO, both know that Tsunami doesn't have the money to fairly pay a specialist to do it right, and am humbly glad for the opportunity to sanctify this bookstore and community center in such simple ways. As an aside, I'll also mention that I think that all CEOs the world around should at the very least be required to clean their public restrooms after all major events. But enough rant. Maybe not. Last night's poetry slam at Tsunami is now a part of the patina. Today's schedule is more than full. Time to get to work. My tools are simple. A sterile cotton rag and a spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol. I trust you noticed the flexibility in crouching onto all four. Notice, too, how I start at the farthest point from the door, allowing the mist to drift onto the bottom of the walls, the homemade baseboards, and deep into the nasty gaps. Check out the wrist action, people. We're talking long years of practice. Little fleck of this, little curl of that, young fellers sometimes missing the bowl even more than yesterday afternoon's old dribblers. Whoa, what's this? A long black hair. Yes, I think I know whose hair this is. Maybe I'll add it to my drawer of special mementos. Only kidding, folks. I wouldn't put a stranger's hair in that drawer. I just said that because I truly relish the occasional gag of low humor. Wouldn't you if you were cleaning this bathroom? In closing, I would like to say that I am bone deep thankful this work does not much yet bother my knees. You might say I was born to be a CEO.
We have a sex slam in June. Props are allowed and encouraged. So, yeah, and I hope everyone is now ready to be extra careful every time they visit the special parts of this bookstore. By the way, I didn't know there were 3.
I didn't either. Where's the third? Yeah. Oh, we're not telling.
All right, up and at me, please. Good, you guys have got it. I've got an 7.6. Wow. And an 8.1. And an 8.3. And another 8.3. And an 8.5. Let them hear it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
22.15 after a 2.55 time.
21.25 after a 2.55 time penalty. Excellent. Okay, here we go. On deck is Robert Bowman. Please welcome Slammy to the stage. Slammy Deitel. Woo!
So I'm a nice Jewish boy, and I have a nice Jewish mother who, when I was young, she taught me to play piano, and she made sure that I practiced every day. And through doing that, I would have to memorize these songs, these like 5-minute, like 8-minute, like Mozart, Clementi, like all of that stuff. But then I started smoking pot, and so my brain doesn't do that anymore, and I have this piece of paper. So yeah. So, ask the babe of the parents, where do I come from? How are babies made? And say the parents to the babe, you came to us from the heavens, child. A white-winged bird, elegant wingspan and graceful long limbs, brought you by in a fitted sheet and dropped you down through our chimney and into my arms. And that, child, is how you were made. Should we not know from whence we came? That we grew from our parents like the apple from the tree? What happens when we perpetuate these ritual, cultural little fibs to the young? Our baby boys and baby girls, sweet in their innocence, will believe whatever it is they are told, unbounded in their trust, their indelible courage and undying love, yet unfamiliar with the cruelties of deceit and fear and hatred. And still we breach their sanctity with sanctimony and the tradition of our forefathers' centrist divinities. We cheat them of themselves. Children crave secrets, to be in the know, to understand the whispers and uncover the taboos. It makes our brains freak out and go spiraling in all directions, looking for so many jagged fractures of a looking glass, shoved out the second-story window, the shards burst outward and scatter in every direction. Of that shrapnel aftermath, there are many survivors, but why survive when you can live? Many more will stay, trapped in the cycle. They will regurgitate, and they will consume. They drone on, their mechanical, smashing their input sensors on anything that will make them feel anything. They want to uncover the truth, to tear off their woolen blindfolds, but instead they can only grasp at strands. Left dangling, they pull until they can unravel just enough to look, but still they cannot see, fostering blatant misunderstandings of the divine and righteous powers and energies that fill the feminine form. Man has learned to fear that which he does not understand, and what they don't understand is the utter inhumanity of their grievances. For they too are a source of life, though the stork would tell them different. We are all sources of life, and as such, we must all hold ourselves responsible. So when the babe asks, where do I come from? How are babies made? So should mothers and fathers say to their fruits, you, my sweet heaven, my personal little angel, grew from the seeds inside of us and the energies of this universe as the apple from the tree. You grew into this world as our creation, our art, the manifestation, nay, the truest expression of our deepest, dearest love. You are it, and it is you. I promise to nurture you with true sensibilities and cherish you with true honesty, be your concrete foundation, child, your steel, sword, and shield. I will protect you, child, only so that one day you may protect yourself and the ones you love, and that, child, is how you grew to be, as the apple from the tree.
Thank you. Welcome to our stage. I really like your outfit. Excellent. Okay, judges, I know you've totally got this down now. Ready to go. I know everybody needs to pee. Speaking for all of us, 1, 2, 3, up and M, please. I've got, almost. Got a 7.3, a 7.8, a 7.9, an 8.2, and an 8.6 for Slammy. Let him hear it. Woo. 22.45. All right, this is it. We only got 2 poets left. On deck is Kay. Please welcome Robert Bowman back to the slam.
was not without considerable national debate and soul-searching that it was finally decided to make a return to cruel and unusual punishment as a fitting way to address those politicians and corporate executives who drove civilization into a ditch. To our credit, the people specifically didn't want the punishment to involve life-threatening pain or physical trauma. It was decided that intense public humiliation would be better fitting for those captains of industry and governance who knowingly destroyed the future. Modern-day stocks were designed specifically to put their occupants on display in a safe and controlled, yet extremely degrading manner. Vendors would sell rotten tomatoes and eggs and other items deemed suitable for throwing without inflicting serious injury. Turnstiles and crowd control were erected to manage the seething crowds. Preferential access was given to disabled veterans of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. There was a strong feeling that the stocks just weren't humiliated enough for Dick Cheney and other prominent figures. The solution was devised by an unemployed machinist living south of Market Street in San Francisco, who designed and produced the anal dildo clamp. Once inserted into the anus of a politician or a corporate executive, a threaded shaft would be turned, causing winged segments of the phallic shape to spread out, rendering it all but impossible to remove. Proctologists were used to determine the maximum expansion of the ADC so as to avoid perforation of the colon. Once installed, the ADC would then be tethered to a post or other fixed object, so the recipient would be otherwise fully free and mobile except for the metal cable attached to his anus. In some cases, the ADC tether was attached to a rotating overhead arm to force the politician or corporate executive to hobble continuously around in a circle, stark naked except for the polished stainless steel ADC firmly wedged into his tight, wrinkled anus before the constantly jeering spectators. The public humiliation of those responsible for destroying our children's future came to resemble a carnival environment, with various organizations and speakers present. Hotly debated was the psychological diagnosis of those being humiliated. One camp believed that those punished were largely delusional in making the decisions that wrecked the future. The other camp believed that they were psychopathic. Ultimately, a new psychiatric term, delusion spectrum disorder, was coined to accommodate both types of behavior. As accurate psychiatric diagnosis became more commonly understood, people argued that psychopathic and delusional behaviors are mental illnesses not befitting such extreme punishment. Over time, this realization became the norm, and the practice was gradually phased out, but not before those in positions of leadership of what was left of civilization began exhibiting much more ethical and humble behavior. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. I was like, oh man, Rob's gonna do like a totally political piece. Like, there's no butts or pussies in this. And then, all right, scores for Rob Bowman, friend of the Eugene Poetry Slam. 10 million. All right, up and at me, please, judge him. Show him when you got him. I've got a 7.7. And an 8.0. And an 8.2. And 2. An 8.5. And another 8.5. Thank you, poet. 23.8. All right, this is it. Last poet of the first round. Please welcome Kay to the stage.
Let's go, Kay.
I forgot to say first time.
Oh.
Vulnerability. Back the truck up just a minute. Vulnerability is not the same as weakness. It's not a game. So don't mistake the pain you see in me as a way to get further in my brain for your gain. If I show you love and care, don't come in, don't you dare and take me over. Run me over like a dozer. You're a poser conducting choir while on fire, and I will watch you turn to ash and fall. Too late to call. Don't look upon my tears as the fears of my life, because they are not. Just let me show you the difference. Take a seat while it's hot and go to school here and now. Listen carefully to each word and let me show you how. How it's done, let's have some fun at your expense. You do recompense for the damage you've done. I am one, but I am mighty, so don't be flighty, hold your seat. Place your feet on the floor, son, while I show you how it's done. Back the truck up. Listen up. Here it goes. 'Cause my woes is just my heart opened up, shared with you. Tell you what's up, till my cup that's all filled up overflows and runs out all over you. That's not meek, that's not weak. I'm not the one that you seek to run over with your will and your kill her attitude. No, you don't, 'cause I won't let another man take me down, make me frown, 'cause you don't get it. Keep the sit. It's not all writ. I'll let you know when it's done. When I'm done. And I ain't yet done. So back the truck up. Suck that and learn to see another way. Up in the real world, I'm a strong girl. Take you for a real whirl. Come along for a ride by my side. Are you strong enough? Are you soft enough to cry a tear and let it sear as it falls down on your cheek? Are you weak? Are you weak? Hell no, you're at your peak. At the peak of your strength and your power in this hour. Feel it rise, feel it flow, crush the enemy blow by blow. Do you hear it? This is Bible, and you are liable to just walk away from this sit a better man, who can understand why this girl is bent to get this message sent, so she never has to run, never needs to run. It should all be fun in the sun, 'cause life ain't done, but it's close. Time to listen, time to pray, time to learn a brand new way today, so I never again have to say, back the truck up.
Okay, thank you for being with us for the first time at the Eugene Poetry Slam. I like ending our last open slam with a first-time poet. That is right? Right? That's what we're here to do. But come back often. And come early, come often in the season. We'll start again in the fall. Okay, judges, we're not over, we're not done yet, but you know. Judges, up and at me, please. Excellent. I've got a 7.4, a 7.7, a 7.8, an 8.6, and an 8.7 for Kay. Let her hear it. 24.1. All right, so here is who we are going to get to hear from again in the second round. There's just 5 poets. I know you want to hear them again. We will take a short break before we hear from them. We are going to get to hear again from Tobin, Victoria, Hannah, Jeff, and Sarah. Okay, going into the second round, we reverse the order of those who have come last shall be first. We're going to recalibrate just to get ourselves onto a new plateau, make sure things are very, very fair. Everybody ready to go? Audience, if you're ready to go, say strawberry. Strawberry! He's like, no, I won't. We're not homogenous. It's a fruit salad. Slate. Punchy. Please welcome Roxy to the stage to sacrifice herself in the second round.
So this week, my therapist recommended that I incorporate a daily affirmation into my morning yoga. She encouraged me to use my creativity to come up with an affirmation that is both positive and recognizes where I am at on my personal path to enlightenment. So every morning for the past 5 days, I have closed my Shavasana in the same way. Today, I will probably not kill myself. Today, I will probably not kill myself. I know that you asked me to stop making jokes about suicide, but that's not gonna happen. I can't pull them off my tongue any more than I could pull the freckles off of my cheeks. Every day I think about dying. If not doing something is 100 times easier than doing it, then wouldn't not living be 100 times easier than living? Every day I think about it. And as much as I love you, which is a whole barrel of a bushel of a lot, whether or not I make that choice has nothing to do with you. If I decide that I am done, then I decide that I am done. And if I choose to fight one more day, I decide it has nothing to do with you, so I'm going to keep making jokes about suicide. And you can stop hiding the steak knives. It's pretty fucked up. Today, my Shavasana is enough. Today, I will probably not kill myself. Today, I will probably not kill myself.
Ain't glad you stayed. Excellent. All right, judges. Scores for our sacrificial poet in the second round. Up and at me, please. Got a 7.6 and an 8.1 and an 8.4 and another 8.4 and a 9.0. Thank you, poet. Let her hear it. All right. So, going to the second round, just so you know, the top 3 poets, the scores from both rounds will be counted. So, yeah, if you actually care to do that math and you're like, why? That one's screwed. It's because the other round. Okay, here we go. On deck is Victoria. Please welcome Tobin back to the stage.
One, after the crash. When eyes followed the drops, they found an arm in tatters, skin peeled away like fruit flesh, sinew and bone mangled, cheap butcher shop meat leavings. Analogy usurping the literal, the real, horror at the permanence of the forfeiture. Oh God, is that me, I asked. Is this something I should recognize? 2. Did you see the man in the video running, his shirt an off shade of gray, running in an open field? Did you wish him into a bird before the shots? Did you notice his skin, how not white it is or was? It happened so fast. Who could have known? But he did, didn't he? Why else was he running? Did you hear the voice of the boy holding the camera? Did you hear how young he sounded? Did the running man see something like this when he was young? Is that why he ran? Did you remember the rule of law at the moments he fired? How could it have foreseen this? How could it have anticipated this tragedy? And yet, how practiced was the officer who raised the gun? Did you read of this story before? Was it last week or last year in New York or Missouri or Texas or Oakland? It must be different, right? You can't kill the same man twice. Did you watch his body in the leaves transform, become untruth, a crime scene? They are taping off the perimeter now. Move along, nothing to see here. The police work is very hard. Did you wonder why he tied up those slack arms? Did you notice what he dropped by the body? That was a nifty trick. Police work must be very hard, always dropping things and picking them up. Did you see the mayor speak? He said, "You make a bad decision." Funny way to describe what I saw, a man running in an open field scared. Did you ask yourself, what if there had been no video? Would you ever have questioned your own fate or doubted the limits of your inquiry? Is that me who lets the familiar go unrecognized? 3. You can see the scene, hold it up like a mirror to history. You can see the headlines, careful not to confuse consensus with conviction. We never get convictions. You can see the tragedy, acquitted of all charges. The ghosts of American justice wanders alleys and country roads, sometimes moaning and wailing, but other times with barely enough life to sing a hymn softly. You can see the blood. How many guns have been dropped besides a mother's child or a son's father? Counting such things is like counting the bars on your own cell. You can go mad. You can see the video replayed 1,000 times for each year since emancipation, and you will have a body count. You can see the body. The man was named Walter L. Scott. He was murdered the 9th of April. Do not ignore him. See this man. Let him give to you a question of his final seconds. As a king may entrust his kingdom to an heir, become like his fleeing shadow beneath him. Let him raise doubts within your heart so that you may also ask, is that me?
Thank you, Toby. I like it when you come. I know you have kids and stuff. I wouldn't have even. Thank goodness we're a team. Okay. Scores for Toby in the second round. Up and at me, please. Got an 8.5. And an 8.6. And a 9.1. And another 9.1. And a 9.7 for Toby. Let him hear it. 26.9. All right, here we are, second round, 4 points left on deck as Hannah. Please welcome Victoria back to the stage. Ashlyn!
On the days I forget I am loved, my nephew will always be my happy thought. The little streak of mud running across my mother's yard, half naked and very pleased with himself. The little ball of fire with electric eyes and a shriek like murder, the voice around the corner. Celebrating my arrival home like I'm the first to cross the finish line and he's my biggest fan. My nephew is 9 years old, and he is from a different galaxy. He knows the stars as if he created their every molecule with his fingertips, and they know him because they speak his language when no one else can. When he cries, he is not rebelling, he is calling to the sky for a translation. Some nights, Sonic is the only volume he knows. Others, he set to stealth, so quiet that he slips under the radars of those who cannot read his manual. But when we're doing the dishes, and he tells me about robots, his eyes become planets as he describes the difference between R2-D2, Johnny 5, Daleks, Cybermen, muses about their powers and capability and sophisticated complexity. You'd never know. that he isn't like other kids. That a slight misphrase will set him off, that social interactions do not always compute with him, that he is feared, that he is the 1 in 68 that is labeled miswired, that autism is a word never spoken above a hush. But no matter how low the whisper, he hears it like a name. When I hear it, it is only a catalog of what he cannot do, an inventory of unfortunate statistics. I have heard clenched minds speak of his robotic patterns, their mouths spelling pity, but they always forget to mention the voltage of his smile. The methodical beauty in everything he builds, how he holds my hand, with a gentleness that makes me realize life breathes a little extra goodness into some people. It's true. My nephew does not think like we do. He's not human. He is so much more. He's intelligence and precision and attention to detail. He is kindness and energy and love. My God, is he love? Some will see his hard surface and call him a tin man. See his need for consistency as a restraint, but you do not say that computer code is deficient just because you don't know how to read the numbers. I don't know everything about his circuitry. Some nights still feels like a war of the hopeless, so tell me how sorry you are. Tell me his mind is unfortunate, but my little cyborg knows more about love than anyone I have ever known.
Thank you, Victoria. I like driving through Ashland. You guys got a good co-op. Yeah, that's how I judge places. What kind of food bar they got for people like me? Excellent. Kombucha joke. Scores up and at me, please. I'm trying to condense. Up and at me, please, judges. You got it. Excellent. I've got an 8.3 and an 8.8 and a 9.0 and another 9.0 and a 9.4 for Victoria. Let her hear it. Thank you, poet. 26.8. All right. On deck is Jeff. Please welcome Hannah back to the stage. Woo!
We took a poetry class together.
It's appalling how young ladies are acting these days. It's clear they need some instruction. So, we have instituted a system to help our impressionable young belles achieve their full potential. Obviously, we love you no matter what. However, love will now be based on score. Points are awarded as follows. 1 point for long hair, deduction for shaved heads, gauged ears, tattoos other than cute insects, acne, and or lack of makeup. 2 points for every bra size down the alphabet. -1 point for implant scars. 3 points for being a size 2 or smaller. Bonus points for every inch of emptiness between your thighs. 4 points for every time you look in the mirror and unconsciously pinch the fat above your hips. 5 points for every time you look at a fellow competitor and think her ass has more lift than mine. Bonus point if you use this as motivation in your next workout. 6 points for having toned abs. Penalty for having arm flab. Careful, ladies. Double penalty for having too much arm muscle. No one's asking you to be strong. 7 points for keeping your legs closed. Bonus points for acting like you're experienced. Being a virgin will result in either penalty or bonus depending on who is judging you. Disclaimer. If you don't shave, you are automatically disqualified. You will be eliminated for having any bodily function other than an orgasm. 8 points for being tan. Deduction for tan lines. Appendix, deduction for any lines, including but not limited to wrinkle lines, panty lines, boundaries. 9 points for wearing a skirt that a hand can easily reach up into. Penalty for pushing the hand away. 10 points for every position of submission. 10 points for every time a man makes you feel like there should be less of you. Count carefully. For 10 points, you get 1 minute of attention. For 20 points, you get 1 night of affection. For 30 points, you get the above 2 rewards, plus a coupon good for 1 free therapy session. For more than 30 points, you win. You're perfect. Undefeated champion if you hate yourself by the end of the game.
Hey! I know, we have a bunch of Cupsy friends with us tonight. I know, we have our time. We would just ask them to tell stories about that afterwards. What's it stand for? College and University Poetry Slam. Boom! Colleges like slams, and they get together and talk about it. No, it's better than that. Okay, scores. Up and down, please. I've got an 8.7, and an 8.9, and a 9.1, and another 9.1, and a 9.5 for Hannah. Let her hear it. Thank you, poet.
Fuck you guys, I forgot to say score. 26.75. Yay!
26.75. Yay! Okay, excellent. Hey, incidentally, you guys heard, didn't some people from Eugene, Portland do very well? Is that true? What happened? What's that? Hey, they're smart and kind of close to us. Boom. Excellent. Okay, interesting. All right, we only have 2 poets left. Here we go. On deck is Sarah. Please welcome Jeff back to the stage.
At the end of every year, when the weight on our shoulders is at its heaviest, and it feels like stress is the only thing our minds can hang on to, my family and I wipe the salt from our backs, pack the most important pieces of ourselves into the trunk of a car until there is no room left for work or worry, and we go camping 100 miles southeast of the nearest functioning toilet in the heart of butt-fuck nowhere. We set up shop. 7 people, 5 decks of cards, 3 coolers, 1 kayak, absolutely 0 cell phone reception. Building temporary homes over callous dirt, creating fire out of twigs and brimstone. We make playground of poverty and call it vacation. Like there aren't people who live on less than $10 a day or have to walk miles to find drinkable water. Like for $40 a night, this struggle belongs to us. Like this dirt won't rinse off. After 7 days, we always have a home to go back to. But when the burdens of being white and privileged become too much to bear, we try someone else's culture on for size and call it American. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that white men prancing around on stage wearing shoe-polished faces was the pinnacle of national entertainment. Matter of fact, think about the Boston Tea Party. How the British made costume of Indian dressing in feathers and blankets, mohawks and war paint in order to convince themselves of the savagery they were capable of. An American revolution in red face, celebrated as the day white men channeled a native spirit to take back the freedom that belonged to them, but then put the headdresses away. Wiped the paint from their skin like dirt from our hands to reveal a clean white face, full of all of the promises America has made to itself. America has become a home for whiteness, a safe haven for appropriation, a place where disguise has become tradition, where we cherry pick what we want from our melting pot, savoring the fruits of our everyday labor and the sweetness of someone else's struggle. Experimentation is easy when you know it's only temporary, when allegiance is not necessary, when you always have the option of going back to where you came from. Is it so surprising then that Miley Cyrus is still twerking? That rich college kids dress up in gangsta grills and sombreros on Friday nights, that my family chooses to spend their summer struggling for the fun of it. When after 7 days, we'll unpack the car, scrub the dirt from underneath our fingernails, and wait until next year, when we can just get away from it all.
Oh, you guys are good at this. That's all I have to say. All right. Neutrality enforcement. Up and at me, please. Got an 8.0. And an 8.9. And a 9.0. And another 9.0. And a 9.5 for Jeff. Thank you, poet. Let him hear it. $26.9. It's going to be really close. Okay. This is it. Last photo, last round of the last open slam this season. Please welcome Sarah back to the stage. Sarah. Have fun.
Really pretty.
So my brother tells me, when I was younger, I thought the human race was a race every single human being had to run. I know I thought the phrase human being was human beam, like moonbeams made of shimmers and shooting light, and I know I thought moonbeams were moonbeans, and my dad could grind them to make silver coffee every morning. If you had asked me when I was younger what I wanted to be, I would have said a golden retriever. If you asked now, I'd say happy, but I'd mean safe. I walked down the bike path in the endless summer dusk with the moon so big overhead I could have reached up and left my fingerprints on its face. My rib cage was a rattletrap holding my chest full of mercury pain, and every passing second left a bruise. Because I knew he was on a different continent, looking at the same moon and not thinking of me at all. But I won't make this year a funeral procession for last year. Last year I didn't think there'd be a next year. This year, every step I take is out of gratitude. After all, the hydrogen in my lungs used to be celestial fire, which explains why in January I may have cried into the carpet, but in July I breathed fire into the atmosphere. And the moon still hangs overhead as powder white and pockmarked as it was before I knew this one person out of 7 billion. And I should never hate any other person, because if we're made of the same elements, aren't they also partially me? 65% carbon, 18.5% oxygen, 9.5% hydrogen doesn't leave much room for difference. So when I think of her touching his face, I should only think of the wonder of consciousness lifting her hand, think of the dance of electrons across her palm, think that her DNA is 99.9% identical to my DNA, but her fingerprints are completely unique to her. Just like my messes are completely unique to me, I am a shape I never expected. A pattern 1,000 ice ages could never replicate in snowflake needlepoint. I am part of the cosmos, and everything that hurts me is just the empty space between a handful of atoms. And I want to let go of anger. I want the sun quartered like a clementine and the moon caught in a net. I want to give chase in the pursuit of happiness, the race every single human being gets to run.
Sarah, way to take it home. All right. Oh, this one. Okay, thank you guys so much for hanging in there. Ooh, it's been a juicy night. Okay, so scores for our last poet in the last round. Up and at me, please. You're distracting the judges. Excellent. I've got an 8.7 and a 9.0 and another 9.0 and a 9.2 and another 9.2. Thank you, Sarah. Let her hear it.
Oh, that changes things. Holy shit.
Get it right, scorekeeper.
Yes. Okay. My brain is tired.
Here we go. Give me a little drum roll, please, and we will meet our winners. In third place tonight, please, one more round of applause for Hannah. Please come back and see us next month at the finals. Please, please, please. Yes, I like it. Way to qualify. We want you. In second place tonight, one more time for Sarah. So that I can just, make sure I've got you. Okay, and in first place tonight, because he agreed to come out, Tobin! Woo! What's that? I know you get money too. Aww. Yay. So it's been an incredible open season, and we have some really fine poets in the, they have to agree to come, but I'm about to invite them all to the finals who have placed throughout the season. So I think it's going to be a pretty epic finals. I know, occasionally it's appropriate, and then you can't use the word because everything's epic.
We already sold out the tickets.
Oh, good. That's done. So can we all, there are more tickets. Can we all stay and help you clean the bathroom? Because that sounds like the funnest part of the night.
Oh my God, it would be that.
Okay, excellent. So here we go. Once again, huge thanks to our incredible feature who's down here from Seattle to be with us tonight, Robert Lashley. Woo! Oh my God, oh my God. Yes, I know. Do you have any books left, sir? 5. Only 5! Oh my gosh. So, on your way out, also thank you so much to our incredible scorekeeper, Roxy, who's been holding it down all night. Thank you to our videographer. Thank you so much, judges. Please drop off your scorecard with me before you leave. Thank you, poets. You all gave everything that you needed to give tonight. Thank you, everyone who held space for the poets. It's the most important job. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you next month in the finals.